back in 1871, when the Civil War was getting done, a couple of Union generals, Burnside was one, were still kind of bummed about something. It's nice and all to win the war, but the truth was their marksmen had been pretty horrible, using a gun called the smooth bore, and all of them weren't known to be too efficient, kind of lacking in precision. Definitely an issue that needed fixing. In fact, their accuracy was so pathetic, about 1 in 1,000 was the number they said, that a shot that was fired actually made someone dead. There's no way to run a real country. So to try to save America from humiliation and to keep up with the rest of the developed nations, they formed the National Rifle Association, at the time under the actual assumption it'd be a sports club for hunting, gun instruction. Not for nothing, but back then they even wanted control of them. See, they viewed the right from which it was based in the frontier survival of the early days, when a man had to protect himself in wide open space, a duty not to be played with or wasted. Till the 70s, they stayed pretty true to that mission. Sport and skill, history and traditions, and two guys named Carter and Knox had a vision to do away with all that business. See, any control of a gun was too much. Slippery slope, they said, maybe the cusp of a full confiscation of guns, so they mustn't put any rules up to disrupt what our forefathers trusted we'd understand justly, even after roughly 100-year cycle since them old pump rifles. But still, they'd be damned if they'd ever submit to a hypothetical tyrannical government. After all, they didn't trust the people running it, so they figured, let's just give them some money. Lobby against legislation intended for ex-cons and mentally unstable men, and really anyone having laws they'd need to bend to get whatever weapon they wanted. Couldn't be stunted. Didn't even matter if they hunted or how many rounds per minute the gun did. 'Cause it's all green in the middle, sonny. Came old Moses himself, Charlton Heston, and a fella named LaPierre as a new vice president, and the politicking got even more aggressive. After all, had to protect their investment. A lot of cash to be made in patriotism, so they swapped out militia with the word individual and preached it was every man's God-given will to be vigilant to the red, white, and blue. Never mind if there's maybe a loose cannon or two, some loner decides what he ought to do is take it out on some folks with a shiny and new unregulated AR-15. So shiny and clean, such a fine machine. Because when the news breaks, they'll offer up a couple of thoughts and prayers, wait for some sales to double, and blame it on the TV, the liberal judges, and some video games if they gotta. Because now's not the time to get soft after all. There's so many enemies, great and small. You'd surely better be quick on the draw. In fact, buy them all up if you wanna. Might be coming for your mama. Barack Hussein Obama. Let me just say, shooting's fun, I can dig it, but so's driving fast. That's why there's a speed limit, because otherwise, what's to stop someone from giving it gas as they go through a school zone? Speaking of schools, I'd prefer if I knew my daughters could go there without bulletproof in their backpacks, that they could sit back in the cafeteria and snack real relaxed like, without having to worry about the attack of the incel with the holograph sight. And one more thing I just can't grapple with is how there's a 1.2 gun per capita. It's more than one gun for every single inhabitant, like all 300 million people. More than one gun for each of them. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that kind of division seems unreasonable. Because all that it takes is a couple loose screws and a dose of some 24/7 cable news and a regular old case of Monday blues, and boom, there goes the neighborhood. And thanks to guys like LaPierre and Knox, the sports club don't care about how good a shot you are, or if there's maybe a red flag to spot to think maybe you just might not need one. But what's a school kid or two between them? Price of freedom. can respect that you may have a family you'd like to protect if things ever got gnarly, and I support that fully and wholeheartedly. But man, do we need the whole army? Cause here we are in the year 2020, and the GOV''T's acting funny, with secret police in the streets, and not one of you seems to be reaching for your peace. I guess all that "don't tread on me" stuff and such is a talking point that you can use as a crutch to not have to say that you just love guns so much. If that's the case, I get it, trust me. It ain't enough to justify upwards of hundreds of thousands of deaths in this country. And how about the constitutional scholars that live and die by the words of our forefathers, but when the time comes, seemingly can't be bothered if peaceful protesters get shot up? As long as they're not us, real patriotic desperados, sitting on our cold, dead hands. So I guess my point, to make a short story long, is that somewhere the old NRA got it wrong, and the original intent to keep our soldiers strong and prepared just went out the window. To cash in and become a lobbying arm for more and more guns, no matter the harm, but man, we're a long way from back at the farm, so we might need to rethink the system. I ain't saying I got the wisdom, just saying, if the mark was a deer for which they thought they needed some real military precision, I think they missed them. The Second Amendment is only one sentence. The word regulated is hard to forget. I guess LaPierre and old Moses C. Heston, Oliver North, and the whole damn rest of them couldn't care less if you pass any tests or have crimes to confess. They consider it best. Let them possess, build a war chest, make them all guess that they're being the best they can be to suppress the hypothetical, tyrannical government of the US of A. Because happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun.